Hey friends, so today we decided to get in front of the camera and talk to you guys like this. So we just wanted to give a life update and talk about how minimalism has changed now that we're in a bigger space. So we almost doubled the amount of space that we have now. If you're new here, we went from an apartment for a couple of years to buying a house.
We absolutely love it here, but a few things have changed when it comes to the things that we keep, the things that we choose to declutter, and all of that.
So, a question I have been asked a couple of times over on Instagram was, am I finding it harder to be minimal now that we are in a bigger space? And I think the answer is no. I think that having more space makes us feel like we have less because we're not filling the empty spaces. So we stay true to who we are. Like, we're not going to buy a bunch of decor and fill every empty space. In fact, we have like an area, is it like an extra living room? The person who lived here before had a main living room, and then they had another like little living room with a couch, chairs and stuff. So
Yeah,
I guess it's a second living room and family room.
Yeah, but it's an open space, so it's not like separated by walls. It's just wide open, but people use them.
Yeah,
for multiple
so
living rooms.
I believe it's a designated space for, living or family. It's not enclosed, so that's what you meant, right?
Yeah.
So it's not enclosed. So we decided we were just gonna leave it as empty space. So right when you walk in the house, you're gonna see this empty space, and I feel like that's one of my favorite places so far. And I know that people walk in and say, oh, an entry table would look so beautiful here, and a couch would look so pretty here.
I'm like, do you know that we're minimalists?
Yeah. But for me, I'm like, no. The least amount of surfaces that I have to dust or worry about, the better. I also like when my kids can run and not get, not have the risk of bumping into anything.
We can't have
So
that.
the only thing I said I would put in that space is a huge beanbag chair. You ever seen those love sack chairs? They're huge beanbags. That's the only thing that I would compromise and put there. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that would probably be the only
Yeah.
thing, because I like it being open.
Yeah, me too. So we're going to give you guys a house tour. So here's a little update on like the timeline. We are going to be knocking down a wall, actually a couple walls, 1, 2, 3 walls. The kitchen is in the center of the home. So the way they designed it was they wanted it to be a separate closed off area. There are vaulted ceilings here. I don't know how tall they are, but they're pretty tall. So we're gonna open that completely up. And then once the walls come down, which we have a contractor who already submitted the permit, we're waiting on that to come back to start. Once we can knock those walls down, then we have to move the plumbing because we are rearranging the kitchen a little bit. So the island is currently like a U shape. We're putting it as a huge like rectangle island.
That is not minimal. That island is
The island is
big,
massive. Yeah.
I love
What is it like?
It's 6 foot wide and
yeah.
9 feet long. So, but what's awesome about it is that when you guys actually see it, you're gonna be like, it looks so clean and open, because the way that we see our kitchen being is still very spacious. We're knocking down those walls, so it's gonna be just wide open. Once you walk in, you're just gonna see this large entry space with an island, and obviously you guys know we're not going to keep maybe anything on the countertops. It's gonna look amazing. So
yeah, it's gonna be really nice. Once the walls come down, the walls are coming down, the old kitchen is being completely removed. That is scheduled to be done on January 31st, the kitchen coming down, the old kitchen. However, that could be delayed a week or two, so we don't know. And then once the plumbing is moved, the walls down, the kitchen's down, then we're gonna redo all the floors. That's a really big job because we're actually going to be removing the tile that's currently in the house. And long story short, a couple of people have said this to me on Instagram. A lot of people nowadays are putting, floating floor on top of tile. We are not doing that. We are gonna completely remove the tile, and then we have carpet in the rooms. Everything is coming out so that all of the floors are the same, all of the floors are leveled, and we are going to have the same floor across the whole house. Once the floors are done, then the new kitchen should be ready. We had to design a custom kitchen because we wanted, you wouldn't guess the color.
Oh, I was gonna say surprise them, but it's fine.
You can bleep it out.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so he doesn't want to reveal the kitchen colors yet. There are two colors.
Because we're going to do a really nice video.
Yes. So. However, we are going to document the whole thing. The reason why we haven't really showed all of the house yet is because we want to do like a real like before, during, and after video. But we will be documenting, you know, as each project gets completed. So you're going to see the entire before we have the after. But we are working on it. And then once the kitchen is done, we're pretty much good to go. Yeah. The only other thing that we would like to do in the future would be remodeling the master bathroom, but that is like the size of a bedroom. It's a really large bathroom, so it's a really big project that we don't even want to get into right now. We'll probably do it in the next like 2 years. It's not a priority. The bathroom is fine. It's just dated.
Yeah.
Like 20 years ago would have been like the most amazing bathroom in the world.
Yeah.
So
probably.
Yeah, I mean that would have been
really
nice.
Cool. Even her parents, when they see it, they're like, "Oh, wow. This is beautiful."
Yeah, so it's beautiful. It's just we like a more modern, you know, take on things, and I like the very clean like white and black and things like that.
And you like a lot of symmetry, so like squares and
there are like designs corners on the tiles on some of it. So that's the only reason. But honestly, we're in no rush. We recently put the playground together in the backyard, and that has been one of the best purchases that we've made. The kids are very, very busy. Like this morning, they were outside by 8 a.m. and they came in, I don't know, like 1 o'clock. Yeah. I don't even know what time it is right now. It is 4:15. So
they were out there for a while.
And you were like, if these kids are not tired tonight, like I don't know what will tire them out, because they were literally playing outside all day. Yeah. Not only that, but we put together patio furniture, which we showed in the last video. So the house is really coming along. It's starting to feel like home. Mm-hmm. I know I'm talking a lot, but I personally really struggle with pending projects. That's my big thing. Like it overwhelms me. I get anxiety. I just don't like when something is taking mental space. And I feel like until that thing is done, it's constantly on my mind. Even when I don't have that thing on my mind, I'll feel on edge and I'll start to think, okay, what's bothering me? And then I'm like, oh, it's all those things that I need to do. So this has been hard for me. I know we walked into it with the understanding that there were things about this house that we were going to change, but I didn't realize how much was going to go into it as far as like needing permits and waiting on different people, and it's been tough for me. I'm just ready for it to be over with, and we haven't even gotten to the hard part yet. We're going to have no kitchen for almost a month. So
yeah, it's going to be tough.
Wow.
And you might see it in some of the videos that are going to be coming up in a few weeks or so when the kitchen's gone. And you're like, you guys are real minimalists. Like, you guys don't
you don't even have a kitchen?
Yeah. So
how do you do it?
I don't know. I'm excited about all of that, but I know when it comes to like, it's funny because for you, you're like, minimalism has not changed at all in this space. And I would say yes to that when it comes to our stuff. We keep everything so, you know, clutter free, and we don't have a lot of things. Where I'm struggling with minimalism is all of the projects. So like supplies like paint rollers and things like that. Like I know that I bought things in excess, so I don't have to keep going back. And I think when all this stuff is done, I'll probably start to declutter all of those things, because I feel like right now I need some of this extra stuff. I've had to go and actually tap into that.
Yeah.
And I see why some people who own homes, when you start minimalism, how it can be really difficult for you to declutter because you feel like you might need it. So I feel like I can relate to you if that's you when it comes to that now. Yeah. But I still feel like you know, when all of the things that we want to do are done, all the painting, all the things, I don't want all that stuff, because I don't like all the random nails and hardware and all that. That's where it gets overwhelming, because people were like, well, you never know when you might need a nail. But I'm like, I don't really want to run into that. I personally, and I shared this in the decluttering video for the beginning of January, like how we started clutter free, is like, I don't like to keep all of those extra pieces of hardware. Like, you might need it, but chances are you won't. And you can always go and get the right piece from Home Depot. And if you can't, then man, that whatever you built was not meant to last, because if you can't get it at Home Depot or Lowe's or Ace Hardware,
you can get a lot of things for a very affordable price.
What about the kids?
Well, I wanted to touch on that because it's interesting. This is our first time ever having a garage, and I know I hear a lot of people saying like the garage is the worst place. Like Joshua Becker got started on minimalism when he was arranging his garage, cleaning his garage, whatever it was, and the neighbor came by and told him about his kid who was into minimalism, all this stuff. And I remember thinking, like, how bad could the garage be? And I get it now, because it can be a catch-all, because right now we're in the middle of a bunch of projects, right?
Yeah.
We need all of this stuff temporarily for the next couple of months while we're painting and, you know, getting things situated. So for right now, anytime we're done, like let's say we paint one day, I'm like, okay, now put everything in the garage. Like, so the garage right now is just the catch-all, a disaster. And I'm okay with it because I know it's temporary, but I guess a lot of people, they say it's temporary, and then it just has become so overwhelming that they just don't want to spend the time to do it. And I totally understand that. That's why we're going to be on top of it.
I've been so uneasy ever since we bought the house, you know, for the weeks adjusting to moving in and everything, because of that. Because I feel like, man, I hope I don't like become like that, where I just put things in the garage or say I'm going to do something and I never touch it. And it's like, well, you know, I was going to do it. It's there, you know. So I can, I feel like I've been like wrestling with that, and like kind of like you, I am not like Carlene when it comes to like pending projects. Things can be a disaster and I can still function, because
you can.
Okay. And I feel like I can still function, but in that regard, with having things like set aside that you know that you're gonna have to use, you need to just get it done, I don't really like that feeling. And that's one of the reasons why I want to get this stuff done as soon as possible, because everything that we're doing is amazing. The play yard, the couch furniture, like we always used to just talk about, like what if one day we have a
house
outside
where we can sit
patio
outside and watch the kids
and just drink coffee, and now we have it. And then what if one day we just had a house and it had a big open space, and now we have that, or a bedroom, and we can paint the walls, whatever. All those things have happened, but it's still an adjustment. Like moving in, it's still been an adjustment for me, because I kind of feel like unsettled sometimes. Like, is this really ours? Like, we have to take care of this stuff. We have to manage all of these things, and so it's a learning curve. And I do think like we are constantly trying to put our priorities when it comes to having a clutter-free house. Like, how do we keep that? Because you can't function when the house is messy, and a lot of that has to do with clutter too, because it's very hard to keep a very clean house if you have a lot of clutter.
For me, if my house isn't in order, like my brain isn't in order. I truly cannot function in that type of environment. Health suffers. Really. So when it comes to the kids, now that we're in a home, we kind of have a different situation with the rooms. My 3-year-old has his own room, and our daughter, the 5-year-old, and the 1-year-old share a room. I don't know what the reason was we did that. I literally cannot remember.
Well, Zion, our 3-year-old, he would always get up and wake Mila up.
Oh yeah.
And we were like, well, we feel like Mila and Legend will sleep better together, because they actually sleep in, whereas Zion would be up at the crack of dawn at, sometimes 5:45, 6 o'clock, and he won't go back to sleep. So we didn't want Legend to have to go through that because we want our baby to sleep. Like, we do not want our baby waking up and having that kind of schedule. But that's the reason. And now Mila, who's now sleeps in the same room as Legend, she does not want to sleep unless Legend's in the room.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she will not.
Yeah.
She won't.
She was going to get her own room, and she said she didn't want to. That was the thing.
Yeah. So some of the ways that we've been trying to keep their rooms and everything that we've been getting for them for the house clutter-free is, you know, we are still doing declutters often. So we look through their clothes and we're saying, okay, do they use this? Our kids are outgrowing clothes, so we try to, you know, either donate them or get rid of them quickly. Another thing that we are constantly trying to do is keep their rooms clean. When we're trying to keep their rooms clean, I feel like we start to see some of the stuff that doesn't need to be there.
Yeah.
Because we know that we don't want our room, even if it's clean, to just have bins full of stuff everywhere. So we're just, you know, decluttering things as we go. The kids have been getting a lot of gifts lately with Christmas, with birthdays. And we mentioned, like, we try not to ever tell people, like, don't give our kids gifts. Like, we let the grandparents and anyone who loves them, if you want to get them something, get them something. What we do on our own time is we go through their stuff and say, okay, do you want to get rid of something else now that you have something coming in? And if we go to the store and the kids want something, we try to guide them and say, like, let's get one thing. Like, we don't need to get a bunch of stuff. We're like, what one toy do you want?
And our kids do not ask for we don't get them something every time we go to the store. And we don't have that issue where, you know, if we say, no, not today, that there's a tantrum or anything. Like, truly, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Like, we have never made it a point to, like, give them something every single time we go somewhere. So we're able to go through a toy aisle and leave with nothing. But in the event that they do want something, like, we will get them something. Because, you know, once in a while, like, our daughter, she told me she wanted Orbeez. They're like these little water beads. And I was like, okay, one day I'll get you them. And I think we were at Target when she mentioned it. And they had it at Target, but I didn't get it for her. But I knew that she wanted that. So when her birthday came around, I got it for her birthday. And she was so excited about it. A huge topic when it comes to minimalism is, what do you do about family members giving your kids a bunch of stuff? And for us, because we are already minimal, it doesn't really affect our life, honestly. If anything, we are appreciative because we don't buy a bunch of stuff all the time. So maybe it's time for them to have a new gift, a new toy or something to keep them entertained. So, you know, in with the new, and we can give away the old, donate it or whatever we see fit for that item. So, you know, it's good.
Yeah.
But I can understand how if your house is so overwhelming and you haven't decluttered, that getting a bunch of new things in can be overwhelming. So I definitely get that. That's why we stay on top of it. I was asked recently, because I did one of the men's games, oh, how are you decluttering? Aren't you already minimal? And yes, we are. But how do we stay minimal? First of all, is changing your habit of bringing a bunch of things into your home. But second, also evaluating, because in one season you might need something and then in the next you don't. So I'm constantly going through our things, and that's the secret behind staying, you know, like this. Yeah. So you can't just, you know, declutter your house one day. Unless nothing ever comes in, no one ever gives you anything, then yeah, maybe you have to make that change once in your life. But for us, it's like a constant. So yeah, that's how we keep it. And at this point, I would say in the beginning, our family didn't really understand what we were doing. When two people make such a drastic change in their life, I feel like the people around you have to see, is this for real? Or are they going through a phase? Is this something that they're serious about? And I would say 5 years later, people are like, okay, well, they're not changing. Like, this is them. Because this is us. We're not going back. Like, I can't imagine at all ever going back to the life that we used to live. But now that they kind of understand our lifestyle, some of them have, you know, come around to wanting to not be minimalist, but declutter their homes. But also they know during holidays, birthdays, and things like that, that they should contact us and say, like, hey, is there anything specific that you guys need? My mom always does this. She'll ask me, like, what size the kids are wearing currently, because she knows that I'm always like, the best gift you can give them is new pajamas, because they grow so fast. So, you know, and his mom does the same thing. She'll ask me, you know, what do the kids want? So, yeah, that was a huge shift because in the beginning, you know, no one really understood when I was like, no, like they don't need anything, you know, and I would always tell people like, save your money, like no. So
yeah, I feel like we're gonna keep learning what it's like to continue to pursue minimalism, like for our family, as we have this house and as we finish projects and we really settle into this home. It might look different, or like how we live might look different than what we looked like in the apartment.
yeah,
You know, where we had to have very little things. Now we have a little bit more like space. We have a little bit more margin for error. So we might give a little bit and give ourselves grace, but we also will continue to we
you
will,
look like you're dancing.
we will continue to make sure that we stay minimal, because I truly do not want to go back to how we used to be. And I know that we won't, and that's why we're always on top of it. But
Yeah.
I think it's going to be so awesome when all the things that we want to get done for our house are done and we have a minimal house. Like, it's going to be so good. It's going to be so clean and open.
So excited.
And I truly believe, I actually will say this, when all these things are done and we're in our home, minimalism is going to be a lot easier, because we're going to want to keep things that way. Whereas when we're in our apartment, we're kind of like jam-packed. We had to we had to put things in weird spots.
It's different. This is ours now.
Right.
We can do whatever we want, so that's a huge game changer.
Yeah. So, anyways, we love you guys, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.